What's up, William? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you guys, man. I'm just kind of setting up right now. Okay. There we go. What's going on, guys? Good to see y'all. Let's get this a little bit over. Oh, oops. It's good, Qatar, SoCal, William. Good to see y'all. Scent of the day, new bottle that I got a few days ago, Rayhan Crimson, best Centaurus clone. Glad I got it. Hey, don't speak too soon on what's the best clone, man. Scent of the day, Wulong Cha. Where is that at? Good to see y'all, man. Kicks, what up, bro? You know I like me some Wulong Cha, man. That joint is really growing on me. Went ahead and pulled the trigger on Lumiere Garcon Woody Oud Dusk Royal Night by the Woods collection today. Never heard of it. This sounds interesting. Scent of the day. Y'all are coming out gunning today. What was my scent of the day? My scent of the day was... The heck was my scent of the day? I know it was a fresh fragrance. It might have been Bentley Unlimited. Might have been Bentley Unlimited. Was it? I think it was. I think it was Bentley Unlimited. Smoking Hot from Killian. That's a tough fragrance to wear, but it is fire. Yeah, bro, it's crazy how, like, it's grassy, it's lemony. You know, the oolong is really strong. I think the oolong is just like so slept on. It rounds that fragrance out so much, man. But the projection, it's like a little 2-foot scent bubble, but man, that thing does work. I love it, man. ¿Qué onda, güey, por favor? No, I haven't tried Ophidian Bliss. I have not. What is that? Banana Republic next to Metal Rain. Tuberose Overdose. So just on this front display, I have Vintage Green 78, Fig Tea Green, Linen Vetiver, Black Platinum, Cypress Cedar, 90 Pure White, Metal Rain, Tuberose Overdose, Dark Cherry Amber, Grassland. Is Killian Bamboo Harmony any good? I have not tried. I've only tried like 3 Killian's fragrances. Angel Share and even some of the best clones are amazing. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's definitely a nice DNA. I think without cognac, it would smell very generic, but gotta love that cognac note. How y'all doing, man? How's that tuberose? I put it back so many times. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. To me, it's on par with dark cherry and amber. You know, it's got a Bath and Body Works-ness to it. It's a great tuberose, but it's definitely candied and playful. You can't wear this by itself unless you're like a tuberose fiend. It's an extrait, I believe, but I treat this just like how I treat dark cherry and amber, bro. I put Bentley Absolute under it. You know what I'm saying? Smoke it up. Put a little cigar smoke under it. I think that's the only way I can personally wear it. Wearing it by itself would feel like a female's Bath and Body Works special, but you put some smoky woods under it, now you got something pretty interesting. Definitely one of the more higher performing fragrances from the Banana Republic line, for sure. This is a sleeper too. This Milestone Perfumes Bois Noir. I never thought there would be a Encre Noir clone ever in my life. Never thought there would be that. And this is actually better than Encre Noir. This is same DNA as Encre Noir, except for they added bourbon, cashmere wood. Like they ramped up the cashmere. I think cashmere is in the original, but they ramped up the cashmere wood and then they added a note of bourbon. And it added just that little bit of sweetness this fragrance needed to feel more commercial. So it still feels like that wet, soily, rainy day, but then it's got this like oak barrel accord that's like slightly sweet. And that cashmere just makes it smell super rich. Way better than Encre Noir. So much so that when I filled out my Trinity line, I did not include Encre Noir. This is Encre Noir Sport in L'Extreme, but Bois Noir Pour Homme replaces Encre Noir. I love boozy notes. What are y'all's top 3 boozies? I don't really think I have a top 3 booze fragrance yet, but one of the things I can say is this is one of the best fragrances ever made in its category. The Ombre Noir, one of the best cognac tobacco fragrances of all time. Totally beats out, makes Tobacco Vanille feel like TJ Maxx. But I mean, I like cognac. I like rum. Cognac, rum, and that's probably it right now. Cognac and rum are really nice. I don't think I've had anything with whiskey in it. Bourbon, I have had bourbon. I like dark liquors on my fragrances, man. That's just me, though. It's going well, Isaac. Good to see you, man. Yes, this is Cologne, family. Behold. Oh, shoot. For those of y'all who are new, clones, dupes, inspirations, cheapies. Clones, dupes, inspirations, cheapies. Niche and designer. Designer. And actually, I got cheapies up there too. Y'all got me pulling bottles all the time. I don't know what the heck I've used. I hate Tobacco Vanille. Too much clove in it. Smells like a candle. I don't even care if it smells like a candle. It just smells cheap. I don't know if it's a new formulation or whatever, but if I need Tobacco Vanille, I'm going to go with the Charuto. But I'm just not even a fan of tobacco and vanilla. I just think it's like a vanilla and spices. It's so generic. There's no character to that fragrance at all. Now, many fragrances draw from it, but I think it's the wrong DNA. Fragrances that are trying to go in the line of vanilla and tobacco have to start thinking about what to dress the tobacco and vanilla up with. The nuances to a tobacco and vanilla fragrance mean all the difference in the world to being appealing or completely trash. I mean, I think that's an obvious answer, Isaac. I'm very picky with designer, and I don't like most designer. And I'm even more picky with niche, and I don't like most niche. I would even say that, like, for my inspirations and clones, I don't even necessarily pick up inspirations of stuff that I'm absolutely in love with. It's more so I'm interested in the wearing experience. But I mean, the one thing I think that kind of separates me from what you see on a lot of channels is there's no clone fragrances in my collection that I don't have original decants of. So it's not a situation where I want to try to smell like something and I don't know what the original DNA looks like. If I like the original DNA enough, I'll buy the bottle. Most of the time I don't, so I get the clone if I just want to take it to the wearing experience, but I don't have FOMO. I don't like most, I put my nose to more designer and niche fragrances than most people will in a year. I'll put my nose to it in less than a month. Every other week I'm in Neiman's. Every week I'm in the designer stores. And there's not a single designer fragrance that I don't either have in my utility box or have put my nose to in the store. And the same goes for niche. I can count on my hands how many niche fragrances I'm even mildly interested in right now. I'm just very picky, man. I'm not going to pull the trigger on fragrances I'm not absolutely in love with. And then in the clone category, a lot of the fragrances I buy are to layer, not necessarily because I love them. But you guys will see, once I'm done with all my full-length reviews, you guys will start to see like my top 10s, my top 20s, my favorite designers, my favorite niche houses, and we'll start to get more technical. But right now we're just doing singular reviews exclusively until I max out my collection. But I think like the distribution, and this isn't all my fragrances. I have a lot of stuff in boxes, but I don't like to shrine my fragrances. I like to wear my fragrances, but I think the distribution here is probably like 5% niche, 30% designer, 5% niche, 35% designer, and 60% inspirations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, that's probably fair to say. 35%, 35% designer, 10% niche, and at least 60% inspirations. Do you like Thomas de Monaco? No, I'm not very familiar with that house. Man, Sarah Oud Vanilla is my next purchase. Nice. It's not a bad vanilla, but I'm just a Grand Soir kind of guy. What's the cheapest website to get clone clone decants? Well, with clone decants, you really shouldn't buy them. You should just find people that own fragrance with you and just trade each other. Um, Most clones don't exist as decants just because they're already so cheap that the price of the clone decant is like typically $5 to $10, which is like 1/4 the price of the fragrance. So you'll rarely find that. The only reason carriers carry clones is if it's a mass selling fragrance, like something from the Club de Nuit line, some Armaf, any clones that are like above $50, they'll sell the clones. But really, you should just get friends and start trading decants. With clones, you kind of have to bounce around a lot of different sites because every site features a couple of clones, and there's not one website that just has an incredible amount of clones. I don't think clones should really be decanted either, to be honest. I think they should be shared, but that's just me. I'm much more interested in getting decants of niche and designer fragrances for the sake of seeing if those are DNAs that I like. And the only time I really get those decants is if I can't find them in the store. So, if you can't really find La Lique in store. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Is Stronger With You still worth buying? I don't think so. I think if you go to TJ Maxx, I think it's Better With You. Better With You and Better With You Intensely are the like $13 to $15 clones, and both of them are like 90% spot on with the originals. Stronger With You is a good date night DNA, but it's just so light and generic compared to Angel Share, Sauvage, Jean Paul Gaultier, Anything, Halloween Man Shot, Spice Bomb, Noir Extreme. It's way more generic than all of that to me personally. It's a good fragrance, but it's not worth paying the designer price. I would just get a travel spray of it to kind of throw in my date night rotation, but I personally wouldn't even do that because I just don't think the DNA is that sexy. It's very generic. The clones do a phenomenal job. I can't wait for you to get Lin Sumi as well, man. It's truly special. I remember when I ordered Lin Sumi, I was constantly thinking in my head, like, man, I love La Lique White as like an office fragrance so much. I really wonder what this fragrance is going to smell like. And I tried to like look at the note breakdown and hypothesize what it would be like. And when you first put your nose to this, like, it's going to confuse you. Like, it's so different. It is like, to me, it's like a modern remix to Dior Eau Sauvage. A lot fresher. It's like a pure green pine note. And then they build around that with like aquatic, earthy, tiny bit of citrus, but it's basically how Eau Sauvage is like a green blast. This is like half of that intensity and a little bit more sophisticated, but on skin, it like warms up. It's truly special. To me, Lin Sumi might go down in history as the best designer office fragrance of all time. On skin, it's crazy. Did you get that scent mail, Scent Bubble? No, not yet. I got Greenlee's package a couple days ago. We just did the Yaman Lail review tonight. I did not get your package yet. I checked the mail today. When I got home, it wasn't in there. But it'll probably be here soon. Proud of You. That's what it is. It's not Better With You. Proud of You. What Donnie's mentioning, that's the clone. They sell Proud of You and Proud of You Intensely side by side in TJ Maxx for like $13 a piece in Arizona, at least. So you could easily get that fragrance for $15 or less, maybe $16 or less. And it's at least 90% close to the Armani fragrance, in my opinion. Best vetiver scent. I hate saying the best vetiver scent because most people who ask me about vetiver aren't true vetiver lovers. They haven't smelled all the DNAs, so a lot of my recommendations are going to be too mature. If you're somebody who doesn't have a vetiver forward fragrance already, I would recommend something that's not vetiver forward and more vetiver supportive, like Roja Parfums Elysium or FOMO Fragheads Asylum. If you're somebody who really thinks you can handle heavy vetiver, I would first point you to Mancera's Vetiver Sensual. Secondly, I would point you to Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver EDP. And then after that, you pretty much get into hardcore vetivers, you know. Frederick Maul's Vetiver Extraordinaire. Creed's Vetiver something. Guerlain's Vetiver. Encre Noir. Chanel Sycamore. You know, that type of stuff. Terre d'Hermès is another, like, commercial intro. So I would rate it in this order. Top 3 vetivers for me is Mancera Vetiver Sensual, Tom Ford Grey Vetiver EDP, and then Terre d'Hermès Eau de Toilette. After that, everything else is kind of just more hardcore vetiver or vetiver accented. What's up, CJ? Okay. Yeah, so I mean, just to speak to the nuance, I bought Vetiver Sensual about 2 months ago, and I wore it for 1 month straight, even though I was rotating every day new fragrances, and I killed this much juice in 1 month. Probably about 30 ml of 120 ml. I killed this in 1 month. So this is like a bright, invigorating, warm, happy medley of citruses up top with amber, and then it's just soaked in vetiver. So it has a very like outdoor sunny day, bright citrus melody, like lime, lemon, like yuzu lemon, lime, bergamot, very bright, very warm, very hot, and then kind of like a grassy, classy, woody vetiver of like 60-70%. It's one of the brightest, happiest, most invigorating vetivers you're going to find. It has the ability to be both playful yet super masculine still. Grey vetiver is the best office fragrance to me of all time. Luxury, high-end CEO, collared shirt, or slack suit and tie type of fragrance. This is like James Bond getting out of like a gray Jaguar type of fragrance. Best office fragrance of all time for vetiver. Soapy, clean vetiver with grapefruit, amber, slight bit of saffron, but super light, not spicy at all. What was the other one? Terre d'Hermès, you know, soapy, earthy, grassy, woody vetiver on top of like a huge blast of bitter orange. Very playful, but also very classy, masculine. One of the most playful vetivers of all time is Vibrant Vetiver Delight. This is cloning Ball de Freak from Byredo. This smells like really expensive Sprite, you know, like a champagne-esque Sprite. It's spot on with Ball de Freak with a little less earthiness, but this is a super low-pressure atomizer, heavy sillage projection and longevity, 10-hour plus vetiver fragrance, very fun vetiver to wear. But yeah, those are like 4 phenomenal vetivers to start with. If you want to start getting more hardcore into vetiver, but again, it's a huge leap. It's even a leap further from Guerlain's vetiver. You know, something like Chanel Sycamore. But I actually think Encre Noir a la Extreme is better than Sycamore. Hot, resinous, ambery, firewood type of smell. Even if you don't like this individually, it winds up being one of the best layering fragrances of all time. You put this under fruit, you put this under floral, you know, you put this under your pineapple fragrances, it turns it into Creed Aventus Absolute like instantly. You put cherry on this, you get cherry wood and smoke. It's just a really nice vetiver. I do have more vetiver fragrances. I just hesitate to recommend them because they're more challenging. Lalique Equus, Ombre Noir from Lalique, some vetiver supportive fragrances like Man in Black from Bulgari. That's basically Tom Ford's Black Orchid EDP without the orchid note. So it's less sweet, more complicated, dark vetiver, slightly smoky, slightly sweet, suit and tie vetiver. Good theater, ballroom type of fragrance. Okay. Haramain's Amber Oud Gold or Latafa Kate Alfresson for my summer fragrance. I don't like either of those, man. Kate Alfresson is like Dole Pineapples. I mean, if you want to upgrade from Kate Alfresson, go with Off Non Supremacy Collector's Edition. It's got the same type of pineapple, like canned pineapples, sweet, but then puts oak moss and birch and black currant under it. Just smells so much better than Kate Alfresson. Kate Alfresson is kind of just like a cheap pineapple, overly sweet, overly projective monster fragrance, but the DNA is very childish to me. People like it, but I think people just say they like it because they spent $15 at Burlington and it's a good fragrance for like Burlington level quality. But in terms of Aventus DNA, it's really quite cheap, quite childlike. Yeah. Amber Oud Gold Edition, if I remember correctly, I think that's Herba Pura from Xerjoff, overly sweet. I don't like to wear overly sweet fragrances for the summertime. I just don't think it's appropriate. I don't like either of those fragrance choices for spring, summer. If you're in spring and summer, you should be rocking woods, citruses, aromatics. To me, anything that's over like a 6 out of 10 sweet intensity, I just think is cold weather suited. Murdoch vetiver, I'll definitely have to check that out. Would you recommend Le Beau or Le Beau Paradise Garden? Probably Paradise Garden. I think it's more interesting than Le Beau. Le Beau is still extremely popular and a lot of people love it. Some people, it's their favorite out of the entire JPG lineup, surprisingly. And that's typically like a lot of the younger kids, 25 and down, love Le Beau. It's a good fragrance, but I think Paradise Garden in today's market is more interesting. Commodity vetiver, to me, isn't really a vetiver fragrance. It doesn't come off vetiver-y at all. It's more playful, like Vibrant Vetiver Delight. But this is a true vetiver fragrance. It's just really playful. Commodity vetiver kind of basically just smells like sangria, you know, with a little bit of playful vetiver in the bottom, but it's very not a vetiver fragrance. It's a good fragrance, but it's not a vetiver fragrance to me. It's just sweet sangria. Let's see. Do you know of any frags that have a cherry and lime note? No. No, but now that you mention it, I do know a combo that'll get you there. Hold on. Okay, so what we're going to do is gonna have to get a bigger test strip for this. So for lime, I'm gonna go with Mahir Legacy Silver. We might discover a combo here, guys. So Mahir Legacy Silver is lime dominant, lime metallic mojito vibes. Very monstrously powerful and projective. It's essentially lime and metallics. And then for cherry, we're going to go with dark cherry and amber from Banana Republic. I probably should have sprayed this down first, but who cares? Yeah. Wow. Who would have thought? Banana Republic's dark cherry and amber at a 1-to-1 ratio with Mahir Legacy Silver, and you have your cherry lime and some metallics under it to give it heavy projection. This will easily be a 10-hour plus fragrance without question. Wow, that literally smells like a cherry limeade from Sonic. I gotta write that down. Wow, that's cool. That is really cool. Mahir Legacy Silver at a 1-to-1 to dark cherry and amber from Banana Republic will get you smelling like a cherry limeade from Sonic. Wow, that's really neat. What a cool find. One fragrance for life, something that just leaves a strong impression on others. I'm not good with games like that, Tanish. Do I look like I can pick one fragrance for life? Do I need any other fragrance for summers? I have Le Beau. Oh, I have Bleu de Chanel and Terre de Hermes EDT. Man, those are great fragrances for summer. I'm going to be honest with you. You have a really fresh, earthy, classy fragrance, and then you have a playful, classy fragrance with the Hermes. I mean, those are so versatile, it's not even funny. You know, so do you need another summer frag? No, but there's a lot of other bags you could go into. You can go into like classy fougere and soapy. I would go with Lalique White. Extremely beautiful, extremely complex, nice, bright eau de toilette. Amazing fragrance that will give you something that neither of those can provide. You can go with like a slight sweet, slight fresh fragrance since neither of those fragrances are sweet. You know, something like a Versace Eros EDT or Halloween Man EDT would be phenomenal. There's really a lot of different DNAs that you're kind of can sprinkle in the mix. You know, FOMO Fragheads Asylum, that would be great. Musk Therapy, if you dare to go with white florals and musk, amazing summer frag. But yeah, there's some, you know, Amir Celestial. But those two fragrances that you have, Bleu de Chanel and Terre de Hermes, I would wear Bleu de Chanel every single day. And then I would, like 2 days a week, throw in Terre de Hermes to be more playful with that orange note, or grapefruit as well. But yeah, Bleu de Chanel and Terre de Hermes are honestly great summer frags. I mean, you're just always going to smell great. Women are going to be loving that. Is Mancera Instant Crush feminine or for feminine for high school boys? Well, so the answer is yes, but high school boys always smell feminine because if you look at fragrances that high school boys and college kids love, they love Victor and Rolf. Spice Bomb, what is that? Vanilla and sugar and cinnamon. What, you know, they like Dior Sauvage. They like what else do they like? They like Versace Eros, extremely sweet. So Instant Crush is just as sweet, high projector, high sillage, longevity. To me, it's just a more expensive version of Versace Eros EDT. But girls love Instant Crush. I mean, there's a reason it's called Instant Crush. You know, high schoolers and college kids wear it because it has incredible performance. It travels across the room, it lingers around, and it's a sweet fragrance. Has a lot of dimension to it for being a sweet fragrance. I do think Instant Crush is better than all of the Jean Paul Gaultier, better than Sauvage, better than, it is better than Eros, even though on paper it's not. Yeah, I mean, in the sweet fresh category, there's not a lot of fragrances you could better have. But I would use Instant Crush as like a date night or hitting on girls type of fragrance if I was your age. The guy who said he was wearing Bleu de Chanel and Terre d'Hermès, that's a fragrance you wear every day to school, to me. You sprinkle in Instant Crush when you think you're going to be around girls. Maybe you're going to a party, you know, maybe you're going out for a game, like a sporting event, like your high school or college football game or something. Maybe you're taking a chick on a date. That's where Instant Crush to me would go crazy. I wouldn't really rock Instant Crush in high school, but it's such a good fragrance. Most high schoolers will wear it every single day. It'll basically be their Versace Eros replacement. So yes, it is feminine leaning, but I don't know of most high school and college level fragrances that aren't feminine leaning. Women at that age want to smell guys that smell reminiscent of something they would wear themselves. And that's what Mancera's Instant Crush is. Do I need any other fragrance for summer? Nope. If I already have, is Offna 9 p.m. a good everyday high school fragrance? Yeah, for the same reason Mancera is. You know, it's a sweet fragrance that girls kind of almost want to wear themselves. It's got a lot of appeal in that realm. I think it's a bit sweet and it's a bit nuclear for high school, but high school kids don't know how to wear fragrance. Like, they love nuclear fragrance. They're walking around with YSL EDP like it's an everyday spring fragrance, which it's not. They're walking around with Eros. They're walking around with just, you know, Monster Stronger With You, Armani. They're walking around with Spice Bomb. They're walking around with Tobacco Vanille, Noir Extreme. You know, they're just going crazy with the sweet fragrances. So they're walking around wearing Camera every day. So, you know, Offna 9 p.m. does very well with the ladies, young ladies. If I already have a Mancera Cedrat Boisé Intense, do I need to buy Amir Cedrat? I think you mean Amir Cedrat Essence, Donnie. No, you don't. Amir Cedrat Essence smells exactly like Cedrat Boisé, but they've added 20 or 30% of a green honeydew melon note that's very distinct. When you smell Cedrat Essence, you're like, whoa, this is honeydew green melon. It's a green cantaloupe vibe, but it's honeydew. It smells just like honeydew. So if you want Cedrat Boisé with big juicy honeydew on top, then yeah, get it. It's only $25 fragrance, but it is like Cedrat Boisé. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, but I would never get Cedrat Boisé Intense or Cedrat Boisé because I think Cedrat Essence is better than both of those. So I would just say that if you already have Cedrat Intense, the real thing, then don't even worry about Cedrat Essence. You don't need to. Now, if you want to preserve your bottle and own it longer, which at your age, I don't think that really matters. You should be. Let's just talk about this, man. I want to know from you guys. This is a question. How many bottles of fragrance, guys, have you emptied? And they can't be 30 ml or less. So 50 mLs or 50 mLs or higher. How many bottles of fragrance have you cleared all the way to the bottom, dead empty, and had to throw it away? Put the number in the chat. Because my theory is that you guys are spraying too little and you should really go crazy and finish your fragrances. And I just think so many people carry fragrances for 5, 10, 15, 20 years even because a combination between sissy spraying and fear of running out of juice, which is like, in the world of fragrance today, it's like you probably should run out of juice so you could try something else. or just buy another bottle. Do you have a good lavender dominant fragrance that still smells masculine? Yeah, Le Male Elixir from Jean Paul Gaultier, or Lionheart from Lattafa. Tobacco, honey, vanilla, and lavender. Another lavender fragrance. We just did Zaharoff Seraphim Blue. It's got a very medicinal, like spa day type of blue fragrance, but it has a ton of lavender in it as well. Try both of those. What are your thoughts on Lattafa Azad Zanzibar for high school boys? Zanzibar is easily the exact same vibe as Off and On 9 p.m., as LeBeau, as Ultramale. You know, it's a tropical vanilla / tropical fragrance with monstrous performance. Zanzibar is nice, you know. I might prefer Zanzibar over 9 p.m. just because I prefer like tropical coconutty floral vanilla over bubblegum. But some people like bubblegum more than they like tropical coconutty vanilla. So take that with a grain of salt and see what your preference would be. But it's one of the best performing tropical fragrances out there. And again, back to the feedback of women like sweet fragrances at that age, you can rock Zanzibar pretty much all the time. Even though I think it's a cold weather dominant fragrance, nobody cares about seasons in high school. So you could wear Zanzibar all the time. It'll work just like Eros, just like Instant Crush, just like Invictus Aqua, just like Prada Luna Rosa Ocean, just like Valentino Uomo Intense, you know, Paco Rabanne, stuff like that. Is it redundant to buy Mont Blanc Starwalker and Mont Blanc Presence? Oh, no, not at all. Two completely different fragrances. Starwalker is a very, very, very basic linen white, so white clean linen dryer sheet with a touch of bergamot. It's kind of limey, more green lemon is like what I like to call it. So like green lemon, a linen dryer sheet, and bamboo. It's hard to describe what a bamboo note is. It's kind of just tinging the type of citrus it is. So it's basically a very basic bergamot citrus, bamboo, white linen dryer sheet, very clean, small projection, maybe about 1 foot of projection. If you want to smell like you just got out of the shower with a little bit of clean upscaleness, it's a very, very basic office fragrance. I really would not wear Starwalker anywhere other than an office, unless you wanted to just be clean for the day. But it's not going to be interesting enough for you to just be an everyday fragrance. Most people don't buy a fragrance just to smell the same way they would if they were just soaping up their body. So that's that. To me, it's one of the most basic office fragrances out there. A lot of utility in the office. If you're an office worker, if you're working at a clothing store, don't get Starwalker at all. Presence is a whole different beast. Presence is kind of like a mix of like new car smell, powdery, soft white florals. It almost has a mint, like a spearmint note. It literally smells just like the juice looks. Picture this kind of cooling sensation, soft white flowers, but not feminine because it's not sweet in that regard. Soft white feminine white soft white powdery florals. Smells very expensive, very luxurious. This guy got out of a Bugatti, like an all white interior, white exterior Bugatti. This is a millionaire's casual fragrance that he steps out of the whip with, where it's his playful scent, but it still smells so expensive and dressed up. It's like even if he was in his casual wear, he would still be wearing, you know, Jimmy Choo's or like Versace or polo shorts with like a $300 white tee with some jewelry on and a, you know, $20,000 watch, getting out of a white Bugatti on a casual errand day. That's what this fragrance smells like. I don't like recommending Mont Blanc fragrances because I think most of them are so synthetic that it's really like sad. But Mont Blanc Presence and Star Walker don't smell synthetic at all. So for that, I'll recommend them all day long. What was that combo again? The combo we did earlier was somebody asked, do I know of a cherry lime fragrance? And I don't, but I do have a lime heavy fragrance and a cherry heavy fragrance. Mahir Legacy Silver at a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every one spray of Mahir Legacy Silver, one spray of Banana Republic Dark Cherry and Amber, and that literally smells like a cherry limeade from Sonic. It's amazing. So that was the new combo we just found tonight. Have you nosed Rasasi La Yukawam Pour Homme? Yeah, you know, La Yukawam is like Club de Nuit Intense Man in that it's one of the oldest clones out there. Like, La Yukawam was one of the first clone fragrances where people started to take clones seriously. It's not special, but for the time period it came out as a leather fragrance, a lot of people really were attracted to, like, wow, look how close they got to the original. But to me, in today's world, it's a bit outdated, you know, as a leather fragrance. Still close to the original, but I just think it's a challenging leather to wear. And it's a good leather, but unless you're in like super cold weather all the time, having a leather fragrance like that is just going to get boring, and it's going to stay 100 ml full on your shelf because you're not going to have a lot of use case for it. Thoughts on Prada Black for high school boys? Do not get Prada Black. Go on fragrancebuy.ca and get Bulgari Man in Black for $70, which is basically the same price as Prada Black. And get Bulgari Man in Black instead. You'll get more performance. It smells exactly like Prada Black. It's just got way better projection and way better longevity. Prada Black, you almost can't even smell it. It's a sexy fragrance, and a lot of women say they love Prada Black, but the reality is that after the first hour, you will never smell that fragrance on you again. Man in Black is spot on with that DNA, better projection, better performance, and it's the same price. Do you have any favorite Penhalion? No, I've never smelled anything from that house. What's a good church frag? If I'm going to church, I'm going to wear Acqua di Gio Profumo, Vibrant Vetiver Delight, Lalique White, Lalique Equus, Musk Therapy, FOMO Fragheads Asylum. So, you know, for what these are cloning, Elysium, Initio's Musk Therapy. Yeah. I'm just going to wear something with the smallest projection as possible. If you're in church and you're sitting down looking at the sermon and you know people are sitting in front of you, on the sides of you, behind you, you're sitting there during praise and worship, you got people all around you singing and perspirating, don't be the guy wearing Zanzibar. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just loud, you're traveling across the room. You want a 1-foot projection fragrance that when people come up and talk to you, they catch a waft, they feel good, but then they don't have to smell you when they walk away. You know, so I'm typically going with clean stuff. I think Lalique White is just an amazing upscale casual fragrance that gives you like 1 or 2 feet of projection, but it just smells so beautiful up close, but it's inoffensive. It's not going to travel across the room. I typically lean on eau de toilettes because they've got loud initial projection, but they roll into skin scents after like 4 hours or so. So, I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt. Rockin' Fakar Black. What's up, everyone? What's up, Henry? For those that don't know, Fakar Black is an inspiration of YSL EDP, and it's about 9 out of 10 close. What was that one bright green bottle with the beastly atomizer you were showing yesterday? That would be Vibrant Vetiver Delight from Amir Paris Corner. I'll let you take a screenshot of it. 1 2, 3. Very fun, playful vetiver fragrance that literally smells like the bottle looks. It smells like expensive Sprite. You wouldn't think you would want to wear expensive Sprite, but it is surprisingly very fun to wear and has a ton of performance. So much performance, it's scary. Jean-Paul Gaultier, Paradise Garden, any good? Is it true to the... I don't know what you mean by is it true to the Le Beau family, but I do think it is more interesting today than Le Beau. A lot of people love Le Beau, but Paradise Garden is just a lot more interesting. Oh, here we go. Now we're at the numbers. Yeah, so Blake 0, OB 0, 200 ml of cool water 5 times. Shut your mouth. You did not go through 1,000 ml of cool water. I emptied 100 ml bottle in the last 2.5 years. See, so I mean, guys, this should tell us something, man. We should not be afraid to really cake on the fragrance or wear it how we normally do, but then spin the block in the afternoon and hit yourself up a few more times. Or mix your fragrances, combo your fragrances. Like you could literally like do so much with your fragrances and you're just being too shy. Don't spray too little, but at the same time, I keep switching all my fragrances. I've been there. Bulgari Black OG, 50 ml many years ago. Wow. Wow. See, I could see going through a 50 makes a lot more sense to me. So I think like that's something I'm going to be really conscious of as I start to acquire more niche fragrances is like really being honest with myself. Like, do I need, yeah, you know, a lot of times you're paying just an extra 15 or 20 or 30 bucks to get another 50 ml. And we're always victims of thinking, you know, trying to capitalize on a good deal, but trying to capitalize on good deals over and over and over and over when you're not going to utilize a fragrance because you have a massive collection. I don't know. And I also think there's something to be said about running out of a fragrance you love. Like, I think we should miss fragrances more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I ran out of my Tom Ford Grey Vetiver EDP and I didn't wear it for like 2 years. And I just started, and it's such a simple DNA. Like, for me, it was love at first sniff. It's a personal piece for me. I think in my collection, it's not the most razzle dazzle or the most long lasting or the most signature. But to me, this is just love at first sniff. It really speaks to me. It's one of my signature fragrances. But nonetheless, when I ran out of it, I didn't run to go pick up another bottle because to me, I know it's a little bit not generic, but generic comparatively in the niche world. And so I left it for like a year or two. Man, a couple months ago, I was just like, I gotta have this fragrance. So, you know, I bought it and now I can just spray it, enjoy it, go to work in it, suit and tie in it. For me, I love this fragrance so much. I can wear it casually. I'll wear it on dates. I'll wear it to church. I'll wear it at the office, suit and tie, going out. I just absolutely love this fragrance. But had I just been rocking it every single year, I loved it more the second time when I spun the block on it and picked up my second bottle because I was missing it so much. It was almost like I was re-enjoying it for the first time ever. So I think there's something to be said about running through a bottle and then you got other fragrances that you're running through and then you get some time away from the fragrance, like not seeing it, not being able to put your nose to it and like actually missing the fragrance. I think that makes us I don't think we appreciate fragrances enough, guys. You know, as I look at my collection, I wear a new fragrance every single day and I try to appreciate it. But even though I wear a new fragrance every day, you know, if I'm wearing Equus one time and I don't get back to it for months, you know, maybe even a year with how many fragrances I have, that's not enough time to enjoy it and try it in different spaces and like see what's really good with it, even though I've put a serious dent in Equus. Um, it's like there's something to be said about just the fact of like there's something to be said about like spending more time with the fragrance. Like, just because like Equus is like a fresh casual upscale, like just taking it outside and trying to push the boundaries of the fragrance and trying to layer with the fragrance, spending so much time with it you get sick of it, even to just really exhaust all the possibilities of it. Like, there's as your collection gets bigger, you stop doing that with fragrances. You start categorizing them in your mind, and you think you know what this fragrance is for and how you would use it, so much so that you start predicting and projecting where certain fragrances fit in your collection. And that's another reason why I don't sort fragrances by seasons or by category. You know, I don't put fougères all together because it's narrow-minded. Some of those fougères might go crazy in the wintertime or on a date night. And if I'm all looking at them in the corner, I start to prioritize which ones I think are better than others and all that. Whereas when I have all these fragrances together, they all kind of get more individuality as I look at them, because I got to remember what they smell like and I consider them longer as individual fragrances. And I think that that's a good thing because, you know, this fragrance is good in the winter, good with a leather jacket, good on a motorcycle, good in a lounge. But hey, I might pop out with this casually one day just to give it a go. Or I might layer with it to try to give it a different spin-off to be more vanillic or more woody, or maybe throw some cherry on it so I can get like a cherry woods vibe. And I don't really do that if I throw all my tobacco fragrances with each other, you know? So just something to consider. What do you think of the new Hollister line? I don't think of anything for it because I haven't put my nose to it yet. What's a cheaper Mancera Instant Crush? Oh, that's a great question. That's a really good question. I actually have to look at my collection to see. Let me go get Instant Crush. Gosh, that has such a heavy... Instant Crush has such a heavy opening. Ugh. Okay, so immediately I'm drawn to this one. Yeah, this is going to be your best DNA that I can speak on. This is $25 on fragrancebuy.ca. This is very close to Leighton, which I think is a similar wheelhouse in terms of psychology and DNA. And to me, this is actually better than Leighton. This is Lalique's White and Black. I'll let you take a screenshot of this. All right. So this is very similar in the wheelhouse of Instant Crush, but it's closer to Leighton. But I think Leighton and Instant Crush are similar structurally in terms of the vibe that they create. Seductive, date night, playful, but still upscale and expensive smelling. 100 ml, 25, 30 bucks max. If you want to scratch your Instant Crush itch, you will absolutely love that fragrance. I'm 27. Only finished one fragrance in my life. Guess Seductive and the blue one. Oh yeah, I switch frags daily and usually 12 to 16 sprays. Good for you, Donnie. What's something boozy and spicy that's not Angel Share? Right here. Right here. You want booze and you want spice and you don't want Angel Share? Go ahead and take a screenshot of that. $40 for 100 ml. Ombre Noir by Lalique. What are we talking about? Hot, resinous firewood, drenched in alcoholic, heavy cognac. Really nice tobacco. It's not a safe, smooth pipe tobacco. It's a little bit ashy and edgy. Smells like a guy with a leather jacket who just took a shot of some whiskey, or like some Jameson or something. but it's very expensive and signature smelling. Very nice. I would wear this over Angel Share many times. But we do have the Angel Share DNA because Angel Share also has cognac as well. It's just a little more holiday, a little more commercial. But we ain't hating. Ombre Noir by Lalique, one of the most slept on tobacco fragrances of all time. How's Camera see a lot of people reviewing it online. It's an overly sweet holiday vanillic spicy deal. I would get Kawa instead of Camera original. It's more interesting. It's got a caramel latte note in it. But I always tell people those are very circumstantial holiday fragrances. Those are not everyday wears. There's one called Montal Oud Dream. If you have tried, what do you think of it? I haven't tried that yet, Obi. What do you think about Galloway, Kicks? Oh, you already said below. Views on Xerjoff Starlight. I haven't put my nose to that. I actually didn't even see it at Neiman Marcus. I don't even know if it sits on the shelf with all of the go-tos. It's a big upgrade of Lalique White with pepper and floral. Whoa. Did I put my nose to Galloway? There's no way, because I would have commented on how it was with Lalique White. Big upgrade to Lalique White? That's crazy. Okay, that just messed me up, Kicks. That really messed me up. Big upgrade? Big upgrade to... Wow. All right, bro, say less. I'm going to order it tonight. Big upgrade to Lalique White? How can you upgrade Lalique White? Only thing you could upgrade is performance, seemingly. Wow. That really messed me up, Kicks. Thanks a lot. Dylan Blue or Eros? Eros. The reason I would pick Eros over Dylan Blue is because even though Dylan Blue is a better everyday fragrance as a fresh blue, Dylan Blue can't really go date night. So Eros can go everyday fresh and date night. Dylan Blue can't. That's the only reason I would pick it over it. Even though on paper you should pick Dylan Blue, Dylan Blue can't go into the date night category. And you're probably trying to hit on chicks and stuff, but Dylan Blue is going to be a blue freshie, you know? So if you're trying to have like a utility fragrance, you're going to want to get Eros EDT all day long. And it's going to be cheaper. If you had to keep 5 fragrances, what are you picking? I will not. I refuse to only wear 5 fragrances. Does it look like I'm going to pick 5 fragrances? No. Is it worth it to buy 9 a.m. and 9 p.m.? No, absolutely not. Best Zara cologne, Zara Man. You ask me that a lot, Jag. You need to start remembering my lives, man. Zara Man. Black bottle. Joel, wish you were in the U.S. I would have mailed you a sample. Hey, man, we're going to fly him out. We're going to fly him out. Lalique White is very safe. Yeah, but I don't like that word, Kicks. I don't like that word. That's disrespectful. I don't like the word safe. I know what you mean, but I don't like it. I feel like DJ Khaled right now in the interview. Or Birdman. Yo, pushing respect on my name. I don't know, bro. I don't know if you can call it safe. I mean, it's safe in the sense that it's versatile, but safe to me is something generic. I don't feel like this is... When you look at... And maybe you're making the distinction between like niche to designer. So maybe it... Again, I can't... I'm not going to challenge you because I don't know. You know. You smelled both fragrances. But like, when you look at designer fragrances in this category, it's got elements of modern fougere. It has the soapy element, it has the white linen element, it has the green element, it has the citrus element, and then the spices, and then the tamarind. When I look at fragrances in this category, normally you only get like a two-part accord combo. You know, it might be citrus linen or like aquatic citrus or linen and pepper. Like, there's so much finesse in this fragrance because I can't think of a fragrance that has like that's combining all of that. Linen, soap, citrus, and unique spices and white florals. All 5 of those I can make out in this fragrance. It's one of the most beautiful top notes for a freshie. So out of other fragrances that I would call quote unquote safe, this is like a signature fragrance in that category to me, but I digress. To me, for the category of simple clean, it's highly signature and highly complex. Yeah, bro, because like when I look at, yeah, bro, yeah. Like, bro, that fragrance is more complicated than Vetiver Sensual. Yeah, bro. If that thing had like 6 to 8 hours of performance, it would be like, I don't know. Me and Kix have a slightly different nose. Like, we're like half brothers. Like we got different dads, but our mom's the same. That's how our noses are. Like, like, like half the fragrance DNAs we like are spot on, like Neo and Morpheus with, and then like the other half of our bag is very like uniquely eclectic and different, and I like that. That's why like we're gonna have a good time when I go to Cali because like when you and I love something, we're gonna be like, yeah. And then when there's gonna be stuff that I like that you like, man, that's trash. And then we're gonna be arguing and laughing. It's gonna be fun. What's the most beautiful fragrance with no words to explain it? That's an amazing question. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanna be honest with that question. Because I may not have a fragrance that I'm at a loss for words with. Okay, so 2 fragrances that I think, okay, actually no. This might surprise you, but I'm at a loss of words for Zara Man. Powdery floral, deep purple orchid, cacao, heavy patchouli but rich chocolate cake patchouli. Lost for words. Lin Sumi, lost for words. Just because there's just nothing quite like it. Again, it's the closest thing to this is Dior's Eau Sauvage, but I hate Eau Sauvage. Eau Sauvage is just like a big green blast that just feels like I got a hit from the 80s. There's something very modern about this, very eclectic about it. It's almost like the Terre de Hermes of green. Lost for words of this. Lin Sumi is just very unique. Loss of words for Ombre Noir, though. Loss of words for Ombre Noir, for sure. There was one more I was looking at that. Oh, Amir Celestial. Lost for words for Amir Celestial. It's just one of the most breathtaking heavenly scents I've put my nose to. Now, a lot of people write Celestial off because it's a clone, and they've smelled it, and it's just because they don't necessarily like violet leaf, suede, and mineralic, and I get it. I don't care whether you pick it, but those same people who aren't that fond of Celestial just don't like Ganymede, period. It's not that interesting to them. I've never seen somebody who loves Ganymede hate Celestial. Celestial's better than Ganymede, but Ganymede is another DNA that's just, to me, it's what Oud Wood should have been. You know, a lot of people just love Oud Wood, and it's like, I like Oud Wood a lot, but I don't love it. It's very simplistic. It's unique compared to most scents that you put your nose to, but in terms of in that category, there's so many more rich mineralic DNAs. Um, but yeah, I mean, shoot, I even think some of the Tom Ford mineralic fragrances beat out Oud Wood, and I'm not even fans of those, like Oud Mineral and like Costa Azara and all that stuff. Like those are even more interesting than Oud Wood, but it is a staple DNA, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple more in my collection that are kind of, that put me at a loss for words, but none that I'm seeing so far. Yeah, I think that's good, man. Zara Man, Ombre Noir, Lin Sumi. Mont Blanc Presence is another fragrance that when Bowtie Fragrance Guy told me to get it, I was really expecting straight trash because at that point I didn't have a single Mont Blanc fragrance that I respected. And then that fragrance just, that was the first time I ever smelled heliotrope as a forward accord in a fragrance. And it just, it, it blew my mind. But I'm very interested in florals. Like, I love when somebody takes a floral that traditionally feels feminine and just makes it super masculine. I think it's very difficult to make most florals feel masculine. You know, it's like the moment you make florals more than 20% of a fragrance, now you just automatically turn it into a unisex fragrance. But for some reason, Presence just has a heavy dose of masculinity to it. And the heliotrope note is so unique. You're not going to find a lot of fragrances in your collection that smell like that. And like Seraphim Blue is in the same family of it, but Presence kills Seraphim Blue by at least 2 points. But then I really like Seraphim Blue. I love, that's a very unique pairing. You know, the lavender, the eucalyptus, the white florals, very amazing combination there too. But in terms of the instant gratification of love at first sniff, the heliotrope just soars above some of the accords of Seraphim Blue. But I would own both of those fragrances, again, just for their high levels of uniqueness and taking floral elements and making them feel masculine. But yeah, good clone for L'Homme Ideal Parfum. There is no L'Homme Ideal Parfum good clone, but if you want L'Homme Ideal Extreme, Fragrance World's Supreme L'Homme Extreme is really nice. I just call it Cherry Almond Champagne. It's like a white champagne, cherry almond champagne. Scent Bubble, I usually get 100 depending on the price per ml. And it also allows me to share it without being stingy. I like that answer. I like that answer. And that makes total sense. And now that you say that, I'm able to be so liberal with my fragrances. You know, I probably send out like 30, 40 decants a month to people on this channel. And a lot of the reason I think I'm that liberal with my decants is because I have 100 ml. So in that regard, you know, that makes total sense. You have a P.O. box. No, Faison, if you want to send me stuff, just simply message me on Instagram. I'll give you my address. But I do need to get a P.O. box because I'm now getting, 6 to 10 packages dang near bi-weekly. So I'd need to get a P.O. box. I have tried Joe Malone Cypress, but it's been many months. Like, it's probably been like 6 months since I've tried it. So I don't recall it really impressing me. I didn't think much about Blue Guess Seductive until I ran out. I know it's not an extraordinary blue frag, anything with a similar note breakdown, but an upgrade in comparison. Donnie, copy paste that question into the comment section so that I can go online and run some numbers, and I'll find you a really good alternative to it. I know there's a few, but I want to really match the profile. So copy paste that question, because I'm not thinking of anything like offhand right away. Sniffed Armage Peugeot, and I like it so much. In fact, I like this DNA. What's your take on Peugeot longevity and projection? Longevity and projection is amazing on that fragrance. 10 plus hours. I have Off-Non Supremacy Collector's Edition. Is it redundant? No. No. Peugeot and Collector's Edition are the only two fragrances you need in the Aventus DNA, in my opinion. They're well above all the original clones that we know about, the Nitros, the CDNs, the Al Haramains. Collector's Edition is a sweet, softer pineapple, heavy oak moss, and black currant. Armaf Peugeot is closer to Absolute, but more fruity, like Versace Eros Energy. It's more of a vibrant, lemony pineapple, louder. It lacks some of the oak moss to tone that pineapple down, and it lacks, two different pineapples, so that changes the whole top end of the fragrance. And then on the bottom, one fragrance leans on oak moss, and the other fragrance leans on birch and incense. So they do have two different feels. Like, Peugeot feels more like Aventus Absolute, but it's more fruity like Eros Energy. Collector's Edition leans more towards Hasselvat, but it's nowhere near Hasselvat because the pineapple is so muffled and sweet, like canned pineapples. It should have been loud, but I don't know. Armani Diamonds Black Carrot. Never heard of it. Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé Comments. It's a great fragrance. One of the best date night designers out there. Aqua Dubai is nice. Trying to see what my spring lineup finna be. Nice. I'm a freshy guy. I won't have a ton of feedback, but I'm here for the vibes. Nice, Henry. Appreciate you being in here, buddy. Might get either Fragrance World Suits or Rayhan Imperial Intense. Gucci Guilty Elixir is awesome. I would get the Rayhan. People sell Suits back a lot. All right, guys, I'm going to do a couple more minutes, and then we're going to head out. Scent, you really tempted me to get that Lalique Ombre Noir. I got to check those out. I mean, honestly, if you're not over 30, I wouldn't. That thing will put serious hair on your chest. Why does no one talk about Givenchy Gentleman EDT? Because it's old. You ever tried Ombre by Baldessarini? No, I haven't. Alpine Apple Whiskey Leather. Interesting. Has anybody tried that fragrance that Waffle House is talking about? Take care, Joel. Thank you so much, buddy. What's the most unknown, underrated fragrance that's really good? Almost anything from Lalique line. Lalique Ombre Noir, Lalique Insumi, Lalique White and Black, Lalique White, Lalique Equus. Those are all super not talked about enough. What's some, do you prefer Pear Potion? No, it's a little too much for me. Best Parfum de Marly, I don't know. For me, it goes safest Parfum de Marly is Sedley. Best Parfum de Marly to me is Carlisle, though no one would agree with me. The next couple great ones is like maybe Leighton Exclusive. I'm going to have to put my nose to that Galloway, though. Y'all got me thinking. Scent Bubble, I will send it. Yo. Kicks, you do that, man. You do that, man. I'm gonna have to send you something, whether you like it or not. And I'm not gonna do fragrance. I'm gonna send you something I know you don't have. It's gonna be something non-fragrance related, but I know you're gonna love it. What do you think about Bentley for Men Intense? It is the closest rendition to Creed's Bois de Portugal. And whether you know what that is or not, Bentley for Men Intense is one of the best dumb reach CEO smelling designer fragrances for such a cheap price. Ebony Fume is good for church. No, they might lay hands on you if you wear Ebony Fume in church. Am I that far off from the bottom? No, I'm not. Okay, let me catch up. I like that artwork behind your collection. Yeah, bro. I actually, it's I wish I didn't cover it up. It's actually a laundry basket watercolor painting, and I painted this. This was the first time I ever used watercolor. Looks pretty realistic. First time I ever worked with watercolor, and apparently I was good at it because I got a perfect score on my final exam in college on it. But it took me 4 months to get it to look that real with watercolor. Because if you know anything about watercolor, getting stuff that photo real is really hard to do. But I have a lot of little artwork. Let me show you guys some of this stuff. A lot of my stuff is hanging up. But I do a lot of abstract stuff. So like this is some artwork of mine. It probably doesn't even look like artwork to you guys, but it's just like a bunch of collage abstract stuff. That one I did. That one's another abstract. It's a lot more intricate than it looks. I did this one. This is some more like realistic, but still surreal. I did that with ink pen. It's a train taking off into a tunnel with like mountains and constellations, and the constellations have faces and stuff. Their art kind of runs in my family. My grandfather was a carpenter who did like artistic based arts and crafts. He actually did this. Can I show this? Let's see. It's a moon. So you kind of hang it up high in your room. And he used to have like a little boy that used to look off the edge of this cliff. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. But I accidentally ran into this with my head and split this whole thing off. So this is like a bunch of super glue of a repair. I have a ton more art, but I just bought this house 2 years ago, so I'm still kind of trying to put it all together. Have you also smelled the new Azzaro? I haven't. What's the cheapest cologne you've ever gotten that actually smells good? I have a lot of super cheap fragrances that smell good. Privé's Illusion Intense, like a 9.5 close to Dior Homme Intense. Got that for $13. This is a sleeper ginger vetiver fragrance. This is smoked vetiver, cedar, and spiked ginger. It's an eau de cologne called Bourbon Cedar. Really nice, fresh fragrance. This one's a sleeper as well. Cedar Extreme Eau de Cologne. Phenomenal, freshy. All those fragrances are $13. There's another $13 fragrance I got right here. Valencia Uomo Intense. It's an incredible Valentino Uomo Intense clone that I got for $13. Is it okay to like Dylan Blue more than Eros? No, not absolutely. Dylan Blue's good, man. Don't take what I said earlier to heart. Dylan Blue is an incredible fragrance. It's just you asked me the best for high school, so I'm going to pick a fragrance that fits all my moods. When I was in high school, I was playing football as a quarterback. I was playing basketball as a power forward. I was like a really weird jock because I played sports, but then I was also in chess club, speech and debate, math club, digital design, art, extracurricular art, chess club. So I was all over different parts of the campus. I was a sports guy. I had an undefeated sports team for like 2, 3 years. So, you know, I went to parties, you know what I'm saying? So I was in a bunch of different types of cliques and circles, and then I also did a bunch of different events. So when I'm thinking of a super versatile fragrance, I'm around a lot of girls when I was that young and all that stuff. And Dylan Blue's not going to get you ladies at all. Dylan Blue's going to make women kind of take you serious because it's a slightly sophisticated, versatile, freshy with charm, but it's not going to close the deal on any type of, it's got no romantic allure to it. Eros is still just as fresh as Dylan Blue. It's not a true freshie, but it's fresh enough to be a fresh everyday fragrance. But then it has all that vanillic apple allure, and women really gravitate to it of all ages. Like I said, it's the most complimented fragrance by women in the designer category. So if you need a fragrance that's going to do a lot for you, Eros is going to give you much more compliments in any space you go into. Dylan Blue, you just might occasionally get a few like, oh, you smell good, and it's like, well, that's the type of compliment you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, have at it. Oud wood, like you said, is better to just be used for layering. Absolutely. Best latent, best fragrances that smelled mentholated or smell like mint. Beside latent. You think latent smells minty? Yeah, so Zaharoff Seraphim Blue has a eucalyptus note that's very mentholy, minty, spa day. Mont Blanc Legend Spirit Blue has like a spearmint note in it. Mont Blanc Presence has like a mint note in it. I'm missing like one more. Start with those. Start with those. Thoughts on tea tree oil from a scent perspective? That's a crazy question. Tea tree oil smells good, but I mean, that's like an out of fragrance conversation. It's a good smelling oil. I don't really have a lot of thoughts on it. It's not that complex. It's simple. It's not very manly. It's more like therapeutic. Like if you want something to make you calm out. People don't really use tea tree oil as like a scent profile. They use it because of the moisturizing qualities. You know what I'm saying? Like they use it as hair oils or like bar soaps, stuff like that. Don't really have a lot of thought on it. Nice, Mo. Yeah, Mo's, that's not really my type of DNA, man, but it sounds good for people who like gourmandy booze. Hey, Scent Bubble, scent of the day, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Scandal, EDT, nice. Scent of the day, Jasur. Jasur's nice. Did you try Celine Reptile? I did not. Does it correlate with Tuscan Leather? I don't think Tuscan Leather is a fragrance people should be chasing. When people get into leather, they kind of just look into ombre leather and Tuscan leather, and they go after those. There's so many better leather fragrances. I mean, Effing Fabulous from Tom Ford has a suede note that kills all that. Ombre Noir from Lalique has a richer leather. Ombre Noir is way better than Tuscan, or Ombre Leather is way better than Tuscan Leather. Ganymede or Amir Celestial has violet leaf, suede, and mineralic notes. Like it's kind of like oud wood with suede and then powdery soft. Smells like a heavenly fragrance. Yeah, I just Tuscan Leather is so plain and simple. It's just not, it's not worth the money to me. Not to mention the clones just like get close enough. Like for me, Toscano leather, it's like close enough, but I never reach for this. Like if you want a clone that like will give you ombre leather and Tuscan leather in one, get off non-rare carbon. You know what I'm saying? In the opening, it smells like ombre leather. Yeah. In the opening, it smells like ombre leather. Then it kind of dries down something between ombre leather and Tuscan leather. But if you want this to stay like ombre leather, a new combo that I've been sharing with everybody is take YSL's La Nuit de L'Homme or YSL's Loam and put it 2-to-1 on top of this. And then you get like the closest thing I've ever smelled to ombre leather, like on the dry down. But yeah. If you're looking for Tuscan leather, just get off non-rare carbon. I watch a bunch of frag YouTube dudes, but something about you, no BS with you, bro. You always keep it 100. Thanks, Racer. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I can't. Like I said, man, I don't talk about fragrances I don't own. I smell a lot of fragrances. I own a lot of fragrances, and I just tell you guys the truth. I tell you guys I'm not the Lord of Fragrance, but the way I talk about my fragrances with so much detail, I feel like you guys can figure out based off what I say if there's something that I like that you might not like, because I'm so transparent about like all the things that I think about with a fragrance. It kind of like gives you guys the language to think through your own fragrance journey. You know what I'm saying? And like, and believe it or not, like at least 20 fragrances a month get purchased on this channel, not from me, but you guys listen to recommendations and then go out and buy fragrances and you're like, yo, this was exactly what you said it would be. So that's really rewarding. You know what I'm saying? You got a sub, homie. I respect the creativity and the artwork. You're dope. Thank you, Mose. I appreciate you, man. Hey, listen, man, we drop episodes every single day. We drop episodes every single day. We just reviewed Yaman Lail today, this 5-pack. Shout outs to Greenlee. We reviewed the inspirations of LV Imagination, LV L'Immensité, Bond Number 9 Lafayette Street, Maison Francis Kirk John Grand Soir, and Parfums de Marly Greenlee. So part 2 to that's coming this week, as well as the Let Me Rate Your Fragrance part 2 as well. Yeah, oil's nice, Shamil. I'll show you some of my oil paintings, man. In fact, this painting behind me that's done in watercolor, I did the exact same painting in oil. It's just kind of sitting under my couch right now. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, Kale, I just dropped my first new song of 2025 on Spotify. It actually just dropped tonight. Check it out. Scent Bubble, I will mail off tomorrow, say less, and you don't owe me nothing. I know I don't owe you nothing, bro, but this time I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you something. I know exactly what I want to send you, bro. I got to hook you up, bro. And when I come out there, I'm going to get you something, too, when we roll through. We go to hit up a fragrance store. I got you on something. It'll be fun. It'll be fun, man. Thank you, Shamil. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, we got to the bottom of the list, guys. Scent of the day, Sauvage Elixir, was such an addictive scent for me personally. Hands down, the bottle with the biggest dent in it in my collection. I am so glad that Sauvage Elixir has treated you so nicely. Okay, guys. Whenever I get to the bottom of the list, I always give you guys 1 more minute to ask questions, and then I head out for the night. I'm going to take a piss real quick, and then I'm going to come back and answer all your guys' last-minute questions, and then we're going to sign off. Let me answer Jag real quick. Scent Bubble, is YouTube and music your job, or do you do other things? Yeah, so during the day, I'm in finance, and I do financial planning and investing. So I do that during the day, and then at night, I'm a hip-hop audio engineer. So people record records in studios, and then they send me the recordings, and then I prepare it all for radio. So I do all the mixing, the mastering, all the technical stuff to the audio. As a hobby for fun, I've been an artist, like a personal artist for my own music for like 25 years. So I've always been doing music myself, but professionally, I'm an audio engineer for a couple hundred artists around the country, actually around the world now. But yeah, so my night job is audio engineering. My day job is finance. So I don't market any of that stuff though on the Scent Bubble. And in fact, on my actual music social media, I have about 25,000 followers on my social media for my music and stuff. But you guys know my story. When I created this YouTube channel, I created it in secret to see if I could build a completely fragrance related organic audience. So I said I wouldn't tell my parents, friends, or family, or my existing social media following. I was not going to tell them that I even have a fragrance channel until I hit 2,000 subscribers. So we're almost there, you know, we're at like 16, 1700 subscribers. But once that happens, the channel will probably shoot up to 5K really quickly. But I don't want it to be a mix of non-fragrance heads. I wanted to build a real fragrance interested community. So this YouTube channel is entirely made in secret. So everybody who follows me on here is like a first time follower who's never even heard of me before. No, it's just Sauvage Elixir is it's one of those things where like when I first started my fragrance journey, you have to smell it, right? Because Sauvage Elixir and Bleu de Chanel are like the golden child of designer fragrances. 9 times out of 10, everybody who goes into a designer store, one of their first fragrances is Dior Sauvage Elixir or Bleu de Chanel in terms of like their favorite fragrances in their collection. So I've just been around the Sauvage Elixir DNA for so long. I'm kind of, I don't want to say past it in the sense that I think it sucks. It clearly doesn't suck. It's one of the most complimented fragrances of all time next to Versace Eros and Bleu de Chanel. But it's something I've known for so long that it's hard for me to truly appreciate it. So I like when other people fall in love with that fragrance because once upon a time that was me. So it's good to see that people are still really loving Dior Sauvage. How many samples do you think I could ask the Nordstrom employees for? Well, you'd have a better chance getting samples if you bought something. So if you bought something, you could probably get like 10, 15 samples. If you're not buying anything, you'll probably get less than 5, unless you know somebody. So the key is when you go to any department store is find somebody that you like, kind of tell them jokes, hit it off with them, you know, have a long conversation with them, really buddy them up, like, yeah, and then buy a fragrance from that guy and be like, hey, I need you to be like my go-to guy for fragrance when I need to pick something up. But yo, can you hook me up with like some samples? There's a lot of stuff I want to try for my next purchase. And because you bought the bottle, they will overload you with samples. Whereas if you're just trying to get samples and leave, that person just spent a bunch of time with you. You didn't do anything, you know? So, hey, Scent Bubble, I'm new to the channel here. Just sub 2. I have one question. Thoughts on YSL YLA Parfum? Been thinking about getting the old over the new YSL Y. So you've been thinking about getting the EDP over the Parfum. Okay. Okay. Before I answer that question, let me just say this. In the hierarchy of YSL fragrances, this is the best to the worst fragrances. The best fragrance in YSL Y to me is L'Homme, original YSL L'Homme, best date night fragrance of all time. Then YSL La Nuit de L'Homme, best date night / versatile fragrance. Then YSL Tuxedo, best date night fragrance. Then YSL Y EDP, best date night fragrance / winter fall banger, kind of everyday banger, but it's a beast performer, so it tends to be less of a spring summer frag. Then Les Parfums of YSL Y, and then YSL Myself. So to me, your EDP is going to give you a little bit better performance, like in terms of longevity. Your Les Parfums is going to give you more, or your Parfum is going to give you a richer smell, but as a result of that, it's just going to be a little bit quieter in performance. So really, it's less about the DNA and more about how you want it to perform. But the EDP is tried and true. Everybody loves the EDP. The Parfum, is good, but it's not tried and true yet. Like it's not universally accepted as an amazing YSL-Y. So if it were me, I don't think they're different enough to spend the extra money for the parfum. I would just save yourself a little bit money and go with a full bottle of YSL-Y EDP because that'll never do you wrong. I think with YSL-Y, you need the EDP. But, you know, you could also get Fakar Black, and that'll get you like 90% of the DNA of YSL-Y EDP for 20 bucks on Amazon too. So that's another factor. They're just overly expensive. If you want decants, I would say Micro Perfumes or ask Nordstrom employee for a few. How close is Peugeot 1 to Eros Energy? 30%. Peugeot is 70% closer to Creed's Aventus Absolute, the new release, and only like 30% leaning towards Eros Energy. The pineapple note smells just like Eros Energy, but Eros Energy is like pineapple and nothing else. It's like pineapple and lemon, zingy, fruity, tooty, fresh and booty. And Peugeot is that same pineapple note, but then under it you have like incense and birchy, woody, smoky goodness that makes it really masculine. So if you want a more fruity, playful fragrance, go with Energy. If you want something that's still fruity and playful, but has more nuts to it, more masculine, classy, rich smelling man, get Peugeot. To me, Peugeot gets way more compliments than Eros Energy, but the people that wear Eros Energy love Eros Energy. I just find that Peugeot always gets the most compliments. Energy is like hit or miss because it's so rooty, tooty, fresh and fruity booty that sometimes you get a lot of compliments, sometimes you don't at all because you're just so overly loud. Kamarakawa, Jag, you should know these answers by now. Born in Roma, Uomo Intense. It's good, but this fragrance smells just like it, and it's only $13 at TJ Maxx. Take a screenshot. Valencia Uomo Intense. Take a screenshot. 3, 2, 1, bam. If you want to get Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, don't get it. Get Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue O Intense because the regular Light Blue has terrible performance. O Intense has the same DNA but better performance. And Jag, you better start remembering the stuff I say because I see you every night. Sometimes you ask the same questions over and over. Screenshot my stuff, man, or watch the videos back. All right, guys, I love y'all, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I drop episodes once or twice even every single day of the week. Long form reviews, short reviews. I have my own game show, Wheel of Fragrance. We try to bring entertainment and education. I don't tell people I'm a fragrance reviewer. I tell people I am just documenting my fragrance journey. I wear a lot of fragrances. I own a lot of fragrances. I decant a lot of fragrances. And my goal is to just document my experience with everything I've gone through, try a bunch of stuff, wear a lot of stuff, just talk about fragrances that I know. I probably have a Rolodex of like 300-400 fragrances, and I talk about them and try to educate you guys so you guys can have a great fragrance journey. Don't make any mistakes. You can learn from everything I've done, and we can just have fun and talk fragrance. Love y'all, man. If you're new to the channel, I would just say this. When YouTube figures out that you guys like fragrance channels, they will recommend you tons of random people that are in the fragrance space. Please turn on the notification bell if you follow this channel because I drop episodes every single morning and throughout the day, every day. So you can go to my YouTube videos and search any fragrance and see all those particular reviews, but I'm dropping every single day and sometimes I get lost in the sauce. So I always have 10 or 20 episodes already pre-queued so that every day I don't even upload. They just automatically post because I review fragrances every single day. But thank you guys so much for the subs. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the awesome questions. Really appreciate you. Yeah, hope to be able to chat with you guys maybe the day after tomorrow on live. Used to own YSLY La Nuit de l'Homme a couple years ago. I don't have YSLY EDP or Le Parfum, but I've heard a lot of good reviews. I would go with the EDP, brother. It's going to be cheaper. Parfum came out after it. It's not too much different. You're going to get larger performance with the EDP. And so far, votes-wise on Fragrantica, the EDP has the most. So I would mess with the EDP. It's more affordable. It's more widely reviewed as the better fragrance. But either way, you don't lose with either. It's just your preference. But these days, you can go to any designer store and smell both of them. So why not just do that so you know for sure what you want? All right, love y'all, man. Scent Bubble signing out. Y'all have a blessed night.